Live from the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber. Stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber. She's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber. Cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, secret sewer glasses, you can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine game. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of the town. And we're live tonight. The music starts playing. It's time for cabareting on Amber Live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
Texas lawmakers are considering not 1, but 2 bills that would ban classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity before certain grades. Hey, Texas, if you really want to protect your kids, don't let them near a church until they become of age. Google Texas church sex crimes. Would you let your kids near a Texas church? A bill proposed in the Nebraska state legislature would ban anyone under the age of 19 watching a drag show and anyone under 21 from watching a drag show where alcohol is present. Hey, you Cornhuskers, your Attorney General announced he found 258 victims of child sexual abuse within your Catholic Church. How about banning your kids from going to see the priest? Arkansas lawmakers want to define drag shows as adult-oriented businesses. Why the hate for the drag queens? Could it be that any drag queen is better looking than their new governor, Sarah Huckleberry Hound Sanders? Beauty may only be skin deep, but her ugly comes from deep within. Hello, Amber LeMay here saying we're back live. But first, I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. All right, so what does a kinky hell, a COVID orgy, and a sexy murder mystery have in common? They're all a part of this week's news briefs. Could this year's Super Bowl halftime show featuring Rihanna be a preview of what some of you can expect in the afterlife? Well, that's what Texas preacher man Gerald Johnson suggests. He recently revealed that following a heart attack in 2016, he died and his spirit went towards the light. And that light was a fire in hell. In a TikTok video, Johnson claims his spirit traveled to the center of the earth, where he saw men on all fours being tortured to the sounds of Rihanna's biggest hits. Men on all fours while listening to Rihanna. I don't believe everyone would consider that hellish. He went on, there was a man on all fours, like a dog. He was burned from the crown of his head to the soles of his feet. He had a chain around his neck. Now, other than the scorched skin, it sounds like a Saturday night in Provincetown. So when you're watching Rihanna during the Super Bowl halftime, have that image in your mind. You know, we're coming up to the 3rd anniversary of the Corona shutdown. Oh, remember that? Locked in our homes, not able to gather with friends and relatives, binging Tiger King. Good times. Now, apparently, priests in Newcastle, England decided that while everyone else was staying home, no one would notice them throwing a sex party in one of their cathedrals. A number of complaints were made by individuals within the diocese after the information came to light about a sex party taking place in the priest's living quarters attached to the cathedral. Father Michael McCoy allegedly approached multiple worshipers and asked if they'd like to attend a party at the cathedral. The Vatican promises a probe into the incident and will get to the bottom of it if it's the last thing they do. And now it's time for an Amber Live update. Chicago author Owen Keane has been on the show 4 previous times talking about his books on the Windy City gays' history. We've learned about the Man's Country Bathhouse, his book of 4 queer plays of social distance, another about LGBTQ plus icons in the arts, and the Chicago AIDS Garden. He's got another book out, and he's here to talk about it. Come on in, Owen Keenan.
Hi, Amber.
Hi, Owen. So, okay, we've got a clip to tell us about that book. So let's run that, Russell. Right, Owen. My eyes were bulging at a few of those pictures there. Tell me, what's the premise of the book?
Well, when I wrote this book, I really wanted it to be a love letter to a lot of the gay pulp fiction I grew up reading that was just sexy and just twisted and fun, and combine that with sort of the novels of like Jacqueline Suzanne and Harold Robbins and Gordon Merrick as a gay author. And I didn't want to do any kind of parody about it because I just admired those books and just thought they were so much fun. And I really just wanted to create that and have a lot of good sex in it. I put a lot of sex into it.
I want to know, what gay novels or what gay stories were you reading growing up? Because I couldn't find any.
No, I meant like more the, not growing up, but I mean, just as a young man, like the just gay pulps. This is one that had this is Tories. This is a little more story oriented than a lot of them. It's about a gay disco. But anyway, so it's all the sort of goings on and the interpersonal relationships and the romances and just all of those sort of overwrought core emotions. I just really wanted to have fun with it. And I came away with such a deep respect for the genre. It was really difficult to write. Like,
when and where is the premise of that it takes place?
Well, I wanted the setting, I made it in a gay porn studio called Exclusive. So I wanted to have it be an environment where the sex would be very much part of the story and still give it like the Jackie Suzanne, like career-oriented kind of, doing anything to get ahead vibe to it at the same time. So what experience have you had in porn studios? Well, years ago, I wrote several books called Stars with a Z, More Stars, Ultimate Stars, and Rising Stars. There were 4 of them, and there are 4 books of interviews with gay porn stars. And those are probably from like the early 2000s. It's always been like a lot of fun. I just really wanted to do this book and sort of blend all those things together.
So tell us about the protagonist and the antagonist in the story.
Oh, okay. Well, the protagonist is a guy called Vincent, and he has a horrible breakup. And he decides to remake himself and he starts becoming very impressed with the makeover. And one thing leads to another, and he gets an offer from a porn studio, and he's remade as Vinnie Lux, who's one of the new exclusives. And then he has to sort of navigate his way through what turns out to be a suspense murder thriller. But at its core, it's sort of a big, sexy soap opera.
Well, that's great, Owen. All right, this one's in the can, so to speak.
It's
So,
out yep.
so what are you writing now? What are you working on?
What the publisher that did this, Rattling Good Yarns Press, also is doing my Man's Country book. So right now I'm editing Man's Country More Than a Bathhouse, about the legendary bathhouse that was here in Chicago for 45 years.
Yes, we talked about that on an earlier show. Yes.
So it's sort of coming around again with editing that. And then I want to write something that's kind of like, I don't know if you know these, but Samuel Stewart wrote a series of books as Phil Andros. And what they are these sort of like, it follows a main character who is kind of sexually explores a city at a certain time. So what it is like, my idea was for it to make it into a kind of time travel. So in other words, it would be like if this main character were to come to Chicago in 1975, this is the experience he would have. So sort of recreating history, but doing it in a fictional context to sort of teach history in maybe a little bit of a more exciting way for adults who want to learn about history without being beaten over the head with it.
Well, thank you so much, Owen, for coming back and telling us about that book. And I'm sure it's already on someone's list to read. So thank you. Nice seeing you again for the 5th time, Owen. All right.
Congratulations on your 4th season.
Thank you very much. And that's this week's headlines. All right, Russell, come on in.
Hey, Amber, how are you?
Well, I'm doing fine. It's been a couple of weeks, it seems like, since we've been live together because, I've done a lot of things. I was a judge at a chili cook-off. Last weekend, Lucy Bell and I were at Winter Rendezvous, and we'll show pictures of that in a future show, but we had so much fun. And we want to thank Michael Wilson from Winter Rendezvous for having us, and all the great entertainers we saw. Debbie Holiday, oh my God, her Tina was just outrageous. And Miss Richfield, we spent a lot of time with Miss Richfield and had a great time. And Jackie Beat, I laughed at Jackie Beat. That's all I'm going to say. But it was a fun time, and we'll have pictures. Russell, I know we have new viewers tonight, so tell them how to watch.
Well, the best way to watch, as always, is on YouTube. So we recommend you watch there because it's in full HD. If you're at our website watching there, that's our YouTube feed. But I do want to remind people that we've got a TikTok and an Instagram and a Facebook account that you should go check out. And you should check out our new website, amberlive.tv, because there's new pages appearing every day. It's almost 100% complete, but there's still a little more to come. And if you can't watch Amber, you can always listen to Amber. On Tuesdays, I release the interviews as podcasts. So there's lots of Amber out there to be seen and heard.
Yes. Oh, Russell, I'm just looking at some of the comments, and it's great to see these people here. There's Don Rotten and Bridget from Illinois, and Johnny from Burlington, and just all of our friends. And what we do, we've met them through Josh Pittman. Hello, cousin Craig. And Big J's there. We meet them through an Amber Chat. We're doing that the first Wednesday of every month. So coming up February 1st, a week from Wednesday, we'll be on Amber Chat around 8:15, and you can talk, and we talk about all kinds of silly stuff. So it's nice seeing the Amber Screw there. Good to see you.
You said a week from Wednesday, but I think it's actually this Wednesday.
Oh my God. Yes, it is. January. Shoo.
January's gone.
Yeah. All right, Russell. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about?
Well, we want to talk about the caption this. So we have a picture tonight. If anyone's got a funny caption for this, please write it into the comments, label it as a caption.
Oh,
There's the photo. So if you've got a funny caption for that, send it into Jack in the comments. And at the end of the show, we will read through the best of them and have some great laughs because everybody always sends in some funny stuff.
I also see Shilala is there. She's also another Amber Screw. Has a birthday coming up this week. So happy birthday, Shilala.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
And then I want to talk about the Bustiers, our good friends who help us out, who keep us going and growing by supporting Amber Live. But it is that time of year. These are all of last year's Bustiers who were so wonderful and helped us out. And I'm going to clear that list and start out with our first Bustier of the year, who is a past guest, Robusta Cap. So we need your help. We would love it if you could help us out and make a donation to the Bustiers using that Venmo at RJD Pro, or you can use a credit card at amberlive.tv. And as always, if you give $25 or more, you get one of those beautiful stickers. For $100 or more, a sticker, a magnet, and for $200 or more, a sticker, a magnet, and a mug. And use that Venmo at RJD Pro and help us refill the Bustiers list because it is that time of year. So,
and if you can't do 25 or the other amounts, $5, you're getting some entertainment here tonight and throughout the month. So $5, if you can Venmo that'd be great. All right. So Russell, tell us about the rest of the show.
Oh my God, we have so much coming up. And as you mentioned at one point tonight already, we've got Rocco and Rusty tonight, but first, we've got Robert E. Blackman. My tongue is tied. Robert E. Blackman tonight, who has been on the show before. You also may know him as the Church Mother, and he is an absolutely wonderful person, and he's going to give us a little update on his life and then chat with Amber about some things going on in the world. And then we have Becca Andrews tonight, who is an incredible writer. She has a book out there all about Roe v. Wade called No Choice. And she has a new article that came out recently on drag queen panic. So we've got a lot to talk with her about too.
Yes, we do. So let's get on with the show.
All right. Have a good one.
Yes. Yeah, we're approaching our 3rd anniversary. Believe it or not, that's how long ago COVID started. And one of our first regular featured guest was Robert Blackman. We found him on TikTok, and we just found him fascinating, humorous, but also very, very interesting. So we want to bring him back tonight to discuss what's going on in his life. Robert, come on in. Hello there.
Amber, my love, how are you? Happy New Year.
Thank you so much. It's been a while.
It has.
What are some of your current projects?
Let me adjust this there. I need to scoot up with you. There we are. Oh my gosh, what's going on? There's so much going on. I personally am extending my brand. Have a line of scented candles. We're coming out with a brand of coffee. There are so many things in the works personally, but also with Church Mother. And life is really good. But I'm also in this era of the interweb. I'm also learning how to decompress a little bit and spend more time with my husband and really just enjoy life. So I'm finding a balance, which I haven't had in a long time, and I'm really enjoying it.
What's the scent of the candle?
So we have 3 evergreen scents, shall we say. One is Serenity, which is sort of a rose kind of smell. Then we have a fresh linen. So it sort of helps everything sort of deodorize, defunctify the house. And then we have my favorite, which is Lemon Drop. And it smells exactly like what you think it smells like. And then the 4th one, we have a new scent every season. So we're coming into the Mother's Day season, and it is gardenia. So I'm very excited about that. Yeah, that comes out in May. So I'm very excited about that. So it's been busy. It's been a great time.
Well, think about an amber scented candle. Have you smelled? Have you
I
sensed amber?
love.
I mean,
So
it's not my scent, but it's
that could the amber, not you. I immediately there are so many ways that I could have gone with that amber. Yeah, okay, amber. We will think about that.
all right. All right. Put my mug on that candle.
I love that.
So, Robert, you are in Canada.
Yes.
Which city?
I'm in Ottawa, or just outside of Ottawa, so the capital.
Outside of
So
Ottawa.
just above upstate New York.
All right. You've seen what's going on in America with the don't say gay bills, the anti-trans, the you saw the TikToks earlier about banning drag shows and drag queens. Is that going on in Canada?
It probably is going on, but I don't know about it, and I don't see it firsthand. A lot of Canada is very rural, and for me, funny enough, even though I perform as church mother in drag, and I've done drag over many, many years and actually a couple of decades, I've never considered myself a drag queen. I used to do gender illusion, which was sort of like a Victor Victoria thing,
Mhm.
but I'm a drag queen. And for me, anytime my community is put upon or accosted or in harm's way, then that affects me. And so I think when I hear these things, I'm always immediately like, oh, what are my sisters going through? Because lots of my friends are drag queens and drag kings all over the US. And I'm always texting them like, oh girl, be careful tonight. Because when you hear one of these things, you automatically go to your center, your core, your family. And because the world is so small now, especially with the internet, one little thing can ignite something that wasn't even a thing. Church Mother actually is now having her very first stand-up show, and I'm very excited about that. I'm extremely excited, and it happened organically. But in the back of my mind, Amber, I'm like, ooh, when I'm writing her show, what can I say? What can't I say? Am I going to offend somebody? Is there going to be somebody there who might not be happy about it? And these are things that I wouldn't have thought about before. But sadly enough, I think in our community as a whole, we have to be very present about that. And more than that, especially with the interweb, we need to be careful about how we critique our fellow brothers and sisters, because we may be criticizing them in jest or maybe not in jest, but when it's out in the public, people who already hate us are going to take our words and make it their mantra and slogan. So I just think that we're in this time where we need to be very, very careful about our words and our feelings to each other.
And damn it, why?
Exactly.
Oh, I totally understand. And so, how are you going to approach your show? And number one, when are you performing your show?
So my show is in late April, and it is actually something that I, as Robert, have been a part of before. And it's a small women's group here in the local area. And every year they have like a women's day, and they pick a different theme every year. And they had to defer last year's show. So this year it's Kentucky Derby. That's their theme. So they've asked Church Mother to perform. And so I'm going to do her spiel. Luckily for me, she does a very sort of clean but irreverent kind of show anyway. And it won't be difficult, but I think for me, it will be honing in on the things that middle-aged women in the country sort of deal with, so it will be easier because I'm working to the crowd, but I'm nervous because I usually don't, I never perform her outside of this little box.
Oh.
So I'm trusting that she will be received how I hope they receive her, because she's very funny. She's much funnier than I am.
No, okay, first, for our viewers who are not familiar with Church Mother, how would you describe her? Tell us about Church Mother.
So Church Mother is this old Southern Black woman, and she is, I think, she connects to any and everybody, regardless of race, religion, color, creed, background. She is everybody's mother, grandmother, auntie, the librarian, the nosy lady at the supermarket. She has those elements that everybody can connect with, but the thread through all of that, she loves and cares about everybody. And there is a subliminal message of kindness through what she says, but sometimes it's so subtle that people don't know it's there. But that's her thing. She's very judgy in a very polite kind of way.
Well, Robert, thank you so much for coming on to tell us about give us an update on your life. And we're going to have you back later on to talk to our other guests, because we got some other things to talk about as well. So thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you, Amber. It's great to see you.
Yes. All right. It's been a while, so I wonder what Rusty Peen has been up to. Let's find out.
I'm Rusty Peen from the Beaver Pond Guns and Taco Society, where our mission is to arm more drag queens, cause a loaded drag queen is a safe drag queen. Dude, have you got kids? Well shit, dude, if you got kids, then there's two problems that you're probably already aware of. One, you never shut up. Dude, I gotta go to the bathroom. Dude, I want chicken fingers. And the second problem is paying child support. The judge said that apparently I spend too much money on alcohol and not enough time on my fucking bean pods. I'll be the judge of that, bud. Today on Thinking and Drinking, we're gonna learn how to apply for a job to get more fucking money for alcohol and the bean pods. Okay, dude, the first rule of getting a job is dress for the job you want. The bunny goes around the tree once, fucking blew the fucker's head off, bud. Now that we're all dressed up and ready to go, let's look at that resume, Writing a good resume don't have to be hard. You just gotta figure out your skill set, bud. Okay, skills. Thinking and drinking. Okay, dude, now that we have a rock solid resume, we're gonna go to the job board and look for fucking work. Dude, today's job board is Indeed.com. Cause anyone and their fucking uncle can post whatever their shit they want on Indeed. Now's a good time to mention that Indeed.com is in no way a sponsor of Thinking and Drinking. But if you're watching Indeed.com, we'd love to have you sponsor our show so that we can talk more about how anyone can post wherever the fucking job they want on your website. Indeed.com. Whether you are looking to make some money as a minimum wage temp, or you want to sell some pyramids for a living, go to Indeed.com and post your shit today. Yup. Dude, let's go to the job board right now. Dude, here's one for a call center. Let's look at the job requirements. Call center experience is a plus. Ability to multitask in high pressure situations. Dude, you fucking kidding? Amber Live pledge drive. Shut up and hold on a minute, bud. Yup. Where the fuck is the fucking phone?
fluent in English. Dude, who talks English good better than me? High school diploma or GED equivalent. Ability to pass both a credit and criminal background check. You know what? Let's just skip through those last few ones and get right on to writing a cover letter, bud. No. Dear dude, what's up, bud? My name is Rusty Peen, and I am a highly skilled individual. I'm dedicated and consistent, as is evidenced by my YouTube show, Thinking and Drinking. There ain't nothing I can't do. And you'd be proud to have a peen like me working for you. I accept cash. Thanks, bud. Rustolium Ignatius Peen. Dude, now we gotta have a celebratory beer, cause one job application, one beer. Dude, if we're gonna drink more beers, we gotta apply for more jobs. Dude, that's all the time we got for today on Thinking and Drinking. I'm Rusty Peen,
and I'm better than your worst employee. You're
Thinking and Drinking with Rusty Peen.
Even with a low employment rate, I find it difficult that Rusty can't find a job. Maybe Russell can help us out with that. Russell, come on in.
Oh, Rusty.
Yes. Maybe you got out of that bathtub and apply yourself. All right, Russell. We've got more coming up. Tell us what's coming up.
Yes, we do. We still have Becca Andrews coming up, who's going to talk with you about her career and about drag panic. And then we'll have her and Robert chatting after that. And we have a video from Rocco tonight that we'll get to see later on. So there's a lot more to come. So
all right, very good. And give us one more update from you, Russell.
We have the caption this photo. So if anyone has a funny caption for that photo, please send it on in to us. And please label it as a caption, put it in the comments, and then at the end, Jack will bring them up and we can talk about them. And I do want to remind people that the Bustier tank is low and we need you to help us refill it. Thank you to Robusta Cap as our very first donor of the year and one of our past guests as well. And so we're looking forward to lots of support. Use that Venmo at RJD Pro to help keep Amber going.
All right. Yes, that's what we want to do. So let's get on with the show.
All right.
Becca Andrews was a journalist at Mother Jones, where she wrote about reproductive rights and gender. Her work also appeared in Wired, Jezebel, and The New Republic, among others. She's a graduate of UC Berkeley School of Journalism. Last week, her book, No Choice, about the history of the right for reproductive rights in America, went on sale. Tonight, we're going to talk to her about a recent article that she wrote called Drag Panic. Becca, come on in.
Hey, Amber, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Becca. All right. So tell me, Drag Panic. What's the story about that?
Well, I am real Southern. I'm from West Tennessee. And I went home to visit my folks. And the thing that everyone was talking about back home was drag queens, which is not normal. So I dug a little deeper and found this kind of mind-boggling disinformation campaign around what drag is and what drag queens are, because it was tearing the community apart in a way that I'd never seen before. So really fascinating to dig into the ways that people get indoctrinated against drag queens, but also really alarming right now.
What do you think is the basic fear? What brings that on, that wariness of them?
Well, and you sort of alluded to this in some of your TikToks. There's this weird idea that drag queens are inherently tied to pedophilia or they're groomers, which is just, it's like, y'all have never been to a drag show, have you? Like, this is not what that is. So, I think, and I think also you have to remember that a lot of the people that are buying into this are pretty deeply ensconced in right-wing evangelicalism. So, they also are dealing with their own like sexual repression, and they have all of this baggage when it comes to sex, and sometimes that gets projected in weird ways. So I think that's a big part of it too.
Oh yeah, I can diddle my cousin, but look what they're doing. That's,
Not quite, but I hear
I
you.
think there's some of that too. Present viewers excluded, of course. But so what response have you gotten from that article, and where did it appear?
So it's on Reckon News, which is where I report now. Yeah, the response has been interesting. I think it's one of those things where sometimes I worry as a journalist that I'm preaching to the choir. So like there's a lot of support because the sort of people that are going to Reckon News kind of get this stuff a little bit better. That said, I have also gotten a lot of pushback, and it was interesting. Someone tweeted at me a picture that is in the article actually, and that I debunk. So the picture is of a burlesque dancer who's a cisgendered female, and there's a young girl present as well. But the picture has been framed as, a drag queen grooming a child, and I'm like, okay, here are the reasons why that's not correct. So it was kind of interesting to see people tweeting the misinformation that is in the article that I take apart.
Our friend Miss Richfield, who I mentioned earlier, she in her show she did a great picture of that someone was complaining that she was doing a drag queen story hour, and in reporting of that story, that after the event they showed a picture of her with her legs up in the air, and that didn't happen at the drag queen story hour. That was part of an adult show that she was doing. And it's just that type of stuff that gets confusing to a lot of people.
Right. And with the internet, you can tweet out anything, you can post anything. And people don't understand that truth requires context.
Now, those drag queens that you talked to in Western Tennessee, how did they react?
Okay, first of all, let the record show that if you go to Memphis and you don't go to a drag show, you are seriously missing out. We have some damn good drag performers in West Tennessee. But yeah, I mean, they have really been through it. The shooting in Colorado really shook up the queens. And then of course the outrage in Jackson, and a lot of the queens perform at a club in Memphis, and maybe a week, 2 weeks tops before the show in Jackson, which is, an hour and a half away from Memphis, the Proud Boys showed up and they were armed. So, there was a lot of fear that that's what it was going to look like in Jackson too. Thankfully the Proud Boys did not show up in Jackson. But it's really scary. I think especially in a state like Tennessee where we have open carry laws. So there are all kinds of people out there just like carrying their guns. And the drag queens are in this really awful position where they're just like, okay, like I want to go out and do what I love. Am I risking my life to do that? Like, what? This is such a crazy thing to kind of have to navigate.
No, we've been covering this for the past 6-8 months. We've done several TikToks, and it's had several guests. We had a guest from Memphis whose drag show they had to cancel everyone was in the building, but they had to cancel because the Proud Boys showed up armed.
Yeah, that's the same one. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh, and someone tonight or today asked me, said, well, are you concerned here in Vermont about this? And I go, I'm more aware now than I was, a year or two, 5 years ago. I mean, every time I hear a cracking, a loud noise, I'm aware, and I'm looking around more, and damn it, I don't like that.
I have to tell you, one of the most heartbreaking parts of reporting this story was I got a hold of a recording. It was a closed door meeting between some city officials and some faith leaders, pastors, and the folks that were putting on the Pride celebration that the drag show was part of. And one of the guys who has chaired the Pride committee for a few years now, he's a real fixture in the community. He's a beloved photographer. Everyone knows him. Everyone loves him. And hearing the pain in his voice when he was talking about how come y'all can accept me when I'm in the context of being a beauty pageant photographer and doing photography for Miss Tennessee, but you can't accept me in the context of Pride and celebrating who I am. That has really, really stuck with me, and just my heart just shattered for him.
All right, Becca. So we'll talk more about this when we bring Robert in. But you also have a book that just came out about Roe versus Wade. Tell us about the history of that and what you expected it to be and what it turned out to be.
Oh man. So I've been covering abortion access for 7 or 8 years now. So the book covers the history of abortion in the United States and really in the world. It establishes that abortion has always been part of life since people have been around. And then, it goes into the Roe v. Wade ruling. And then it also looks at what I was calling post-Roe states. So places like Tennessee and Mississippi, where Roe was still in effect, but really not in these places because the states had regulated it so deeply. I would say I had to change that framing once the entire country became a post-Roe country. But the book also looks at, what has happened since the Dobbs ruling that overturned Roe versus Wade. And it was, I expected, it was very clear that things were going to go badly. It was very clear during oral arguments before the Supreme Court that the justices had every intent of, if not outright overturning Roe, doing significant damage to that precedent. What I was not prepared for was the leak of the ruling. And because of that, we sped up the book deadline. So my book was due several months before it would have originally been due. So I didn't sleep. I was just writing on my couch, shoveling Fruit Loops into my mouth to stay awake. It was not my finest, cutest moment. But we got there and now it's out, and it's been really cool to see people connect with the text and connect with the characters in the book who were vulnerable with me about their experiences and their stories. And I just feel really fortunate to have written it.
Who do you think created the leak?
I don't know am I allowed to speculate about that? I don't know.
Yes, you can. I
kind of think it was Jenny. I don't know.
If not her, Alito. He did something.
Yeah.
It was either Jenny or Alito. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. But no, let's show that book one more time, because I know many of our viewers would like to look at that. And where can they find that book?
Anywhere. Bookshop, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, your local independent bookstore, which is the best way to get it.
Okay.
It's all over the place.
Very good. Local bookstores. We appreciate that. All right, Becca. So we're going to bring Robert back in now. And Robert was listening to this interview. Oh, well, Becca, do you have a question for Robert that you listened to his interview?
Yes. It's not a very serious question. I'm really sorry, but
that's okay. All the better.
Excited about this,
life's too serious.
Do you have a hat picked out for your Kentucky Derby performance?
So that is an amazing question. And because I am a designer, the impulse is to whip up something new for her, but I realize that I really don't have the kind of time that I would like to. So is it right there? There is, it's out of budget, but yeah, there is a hat that she will probably wear. It's a big blue and white wide brim hat. It's one of her church hats, but yeah, it's very appropriate for the Derby. But knowing Mother, she probably will do a costume change because there is an intermission. So yeah, there'll probably be something else.
I see an apron
Oh,
in part
so
of it too
excited.
as well.
and to apron or not to apron is the question, because now she wears a lot of petticoats because she is a Southern Black woman. So yeah, to be continued. We'll have to find out.
Okay, Robert,
I'm
do you have a
on the edge
question?
of my seat.
Robert, do you have a question for Becca?
I do, and actually, probably unfortunately, Becca, my question is a little more serious. As you sort of wrapped your head around this very serious topic, sort of in your home area, what has been the response by your family and friends there, especially those who might be a little more conservative?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I've been sort of long time gone, if you know what I mean. I went to Berkeley for J school, so it's not really a shock that I have the political and social beliefs that I do. Um, bless their hearts, my poor family just like lets me do my thing, and we just try not to talk about it too much. We talk about it sometimes because I can't keep my mouth shut, but it is what it is. But mostly I've gotten really close with a lot of folks in the queer community in West Tennessee, and was really focused on what they would think about the piece, and hoping that they would feel represented. I didn't hear from anyone that I know who would have been upset by it, which is great as far as I'm concerned. But I do, growing up in West Tennessee, like I know that it is much easier for me to speak about this stuff as like a straight cis female than it is for my queer friends. So they get much more blowback than I do.
I honestly would hope, and maybe once the dust settles, I would almost hope that one of your staunch conservative family or friends would broach the subject with you, for the main reason they respect you, and they know that the answer that you give them is not coming from a place of hate or malice, but because you've educated yourself on the subject. And that might germinate one grain in one person that eventually may sprout someplace else. So I hope that somebody is, kind of daring enough to ask you. But I also challenge you maybe to ask one of them, hey, have you seen this article? What do you think? Because sometimes they need to be pushed, because they are Southern and they don't want to step outside the bounds. So maybe just a gentle white glove push might help them along. Just a suggestion.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I do think over time, over, my decade as a reporter, I have seen people move, just a little bit with me, and that's been really nice. But yeah, I totally hear you, and I agree.
Okay, so what do you think? Who or what needs to happen to stop this madness?
Who is that for?
Is that for me or Robert?
Both.
Ladies first.
Yeah, I wish I knew. Something that has really bothered me has been the ways that the queer community has really worked to educate people. When all of this started going down in Jackson, the folks on the Pride Committee were really just like, oh, well, people just don't understand. Like, we just need to educate them and do it in this spirit of love and generosity and good faith. And it didn't work. And I'm speaking broadly, maybe it did work for a few few people. But that is really disheartening for me, that like people are so indoctrinated in their hate and in this disinformation that good faith efforts to set the record straight and to like get the facts right aren't working. So, you know, not to be bleak, but I guess I feel like I'm at a little bit of a loss.
Robert?
I don't know. Yeah. So for me, I'm a long view kind of person. And anytime these situations come up, I remind people, or I at least highlight that I think a lot of times people think that these things happen in a vacuum. And I remind people that these situations have always been here. They have always existed. And the thing for me is that what has highlighted this, and I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but somebody who was in power a couple of years ago gave hate a home. They made it comfortable for anybody and everybody to say and do whatever they wanted. And so now those things that people always said at home or at the local bar or at their church or at the bingo hall in private, they now say it in public, knowing that there are other people who are saying it publicly and they have allies in that. And for me, I say for myself and to other people, I'm not changing one thing about me. That doesn't mean that I'm militant or anything else. Whatever we were doing before, we continue to do. Because if we change our lives to show them what we think they need to be proven, then they win. We are normal people doing normal things. I'm a grandpa, a well-moisturized grandpa, but I'm a grandpa. And and I feel like we need to just continue to live our lives with our own self-respect and our own dignity. And while we're not going to change the world with that, we do show people that we are no better, but we're no worse than them.
Thank you so much, both of you, for a very interesting conversation. I wish we could solve it, but, you know, opening the dialogue and hopefully someone will log on to this. Thank you so much. Looking forward to more articles from you, Becca, and Robert. You're always welcome to come back and talk about your adventures as well. Thank you so much tonight. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
All right. So it's that time of night. So let's close out with a little bit of Rocco.
Hey, Amber, it's me, Rocco. Yeah, I still ain't got a voice. What are you gonna do? Listen, I'm sorry I'm not there live tonight, but I'm out with a lovely lady eating Chinese buffet. So right now I'm probably sucking down some teriyaki chicken or something, or maybe the all-you-could-eat crab legs. Alright? So that's that. Anyway, what's all this talk about George Santos? You understand this guy was from Long Island, right? I mean, I gotta stick up for the guy. Yeah, he may have lied about some things, but what are you gonna do? People lie. Everybody lies. He's a politician and a Republican. Alright, he's gonna lie. But I don't know what his lies are because I don't pay attention to this crap. So I printed out a list of his lies, and I think we should go over this together. I don't want anybody saying anything crazy because I gotta wear glasses, alright? Listen, you got a problem with that? You talk to God, because he did this to me. Anyway, George Santos lied on his resume, saying he graduated with a bachelor's degree in economics from Baruch College, and he went to NYU as well. Now that, wait, really? Alright, now that I know is bullshit, because I taught a class at Suffolk County Community College that he attended. It was all about lies and deception. Hey, he got an A+ in that class. It's good to know he learned something. And what else? His career He says he worked at Goldman Sachs and Citigroup and all that crap. That's a lie, too. He was panhandling in front of the buildings. I know. I gave him a quarter once. Also, he says, hey, I was Jewish. Was Jewish, what? He says, Jewish. Yeah, we've been through that. Yeah, what he meant to say by Jewish is that he would go to shul to sell raffle tickets to raffle off a brand new Cadillac. Thing is, he only had a 1986 Yugo. Didn't run. So that's all bullshit too. And as you guys know, he claims to be gay. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But his wife says he was gay. But his wife is a strap-on. That's what he was married to. And, he's now married to a guy. But George isn't gay. His husband is, though. Did you know he was a drag queen? Yeah, you know that, right? That's what they say. But being a drag at parties does not make you a drag queen. And let me tell you, criminal stuff. Stole a man's checkbook, blah, blah, blah. All right, this is boring me to death. He stole a lot of money. He stole from a dog. He stole from the IRS. He stole a lot of shit. And he said he did a lot of things he didn't do. And now people elected him. Let me tell you about the Republicans on Long Island. They're dumb. But that's it. George Santos. What a guy. So, I'll talk to you guys later, all right? Bye.
Oh, that Rocco. And I love his accessory, the amber screw pin. Yes, looks very good. Hey, Jack, come on in. Oh, Jack, what you doing? Oh, it's Rusty. It's not Jack. Oh, gosh.
Dude, he couldn't make it this week, bud.
Oh, I was hoping Jack would be here. Okay.
No, dude, I got a fucking mail in the letter from President Joe Biden the other day.
Yeah, what did it say?
It said, here's some confidential records. Make this shit go up in smoke. So I'm doing it the only way I know how, bud.
Okay, bud. All right, Rusty, on your resume that you talked about earlier, I don't know if it said anything about computer skills. Do you know how to bring up the captions?
Dude, I know how to swipe right like it's nobody's business, bud. How do you think I got all them peen pods?
Okay, so let's bring up some of the let's show that picture one more time.
Dude. Okay, bud. Let's go back to the beginning. You gotta turn back the hands of time.
It's a very good place to start. Yes.
It's a good one, bud. You should try it sometime. Okay, starting off with Josh, who says
Josh from Newfoundland. Yes.
From the Newfoundland, we got a newfound grave. Flowers going over a wood best grave.
All right. They talk funny up there in Newfoundland.
Worst grave, bud.
Yes.
Okay. Don says, I understand the DNR, but this is going too far. Ignatius Peen, Mom. Alta says, you didn't come out when you were living. You ain't coming out now.
Oh, I like that one.
Dude,
thank you, Malta Scott.
Dude, we got Josh again who says must be a monster's grave. It's the door for the monster, bud. Okay. Cousin Craig says, well, he was always in a bondage.
Well, Cousin Craig would know. He knows those people.
Dude, he's famous for his crazy basement, bud. And the crazy
yes, he is.
The doors and all the locks.
That's
and
enough.
Key
That's
master.
enough.
Okay. Okay, no, that's something else, bud. Rusty should take his cans in, bud, dude. Saving it up for big cash cow one of these days. Okay. Gandalf says, you shall not pass. Thanks, crazy kid.
I don't know that.
Dude, it's from that movie with the hobbits and the wizard, dude. Harry Potter.
Okay, no.
Okay, bud. Ron says, yeehaw, found a great place to grill a whole hog.
Oh, Ron from Memphis. We talked about Memphis earlier. Yes, Ron, thank you very much.
Yeah, bud, he knows a thing or two about grilling a hog. Cousin Hank would be proud of that one.
Yeah.
And crazy kid. Now this better keep him in.
Yeah.
And we got one more. It's from Johnny who says the beep, 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 grill.
And that's the Beaver Pond Pork Byprocessing or
Dude, nobody can say
byproduct processing plant.
that. The Beaver Pond or process it. Dude, this is a tough one, bud. And then wrapping it all up, Big J says the Garden Grill.
All right. Thank you, Big J. Nice hearing from
fresh,
you.
bud.
All right. So, Russell, come on in.
Hey, so that picture looks a little strange, but it's my understanding that those were put over graves to stop grave diggers, to stop body snatchers.
Oh,
there was some popular graves.
No, you know, when you could dig up a body and sell it to a medical school back in the day, you made some money that way.
No, that would do it. That would do it.
Yeah.
Why am I spending my time with you two when I could be in a much more lucrative position doing that?
There's a job for you, Rusty.
I better get my shovel.
So, great show tonight, Russell. Fascinating interviews with the guests and stuff. Thank you so much for arranging that. What do we have coming up next week?
Oh, well, it'll be a surprise again. So we are working on something. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it might be a really big guest. And if not, we'll come up with some just regular big guests.
Oh, like more of Rusty Peen.
Dude,
there will
never enough Peen on this show.
There will be some Rusty next week. I think Rusty's going to be getting ready for Valentine's Day next week.
Oh, dude, it's Valentine's Day coming up, bud.
Yeah, because the week after that is Super Bowl weekend, and I think we may just take the evening off. So.
Yeah, no one's going to watch us on Super Bowl, so that's in 2 weeks. But next week we'll be back with another show. So thank you very much, Rusty.
Join me, and I'll tell you all about the best love-making techniques.
Ooh, and maybe get some of that lube, that lard love from Hank.
From Hank.
Hank's lard love gravy.
Yes, we're terrified. Have a good night, Rusty.
Oh, no, Johnny, no. Don't encourage him. Thank you, Russell.
It happens. Good night.
All right, thank you so much for joining us for, what did he say, 134th show in 3 years?
138.
138. Oh my gosh. So we're still here, and we'll be back next week. Take care. Hey, Boog and Shug, bring it on.
I just can't figure out the plot of this show. It's a talk show, Boog. There are different guests every week. There is no plot. No plot? So how do they figure out who the murderer is? There is no murderer. Well, something's rotting, because it sure stinks.